Yo, what's up, Fuck. Yo, what's up, guys? It's Kaizen, as usual, and I'm gonna give you a piece of wisdom that is flying in the face of maybe what you've heard elsewhere. And today we're gonna talk about comparison and why you should compare yourself to others. And this advice that you should stop comparing yourself to other people is incorrect. So, let's think about comparison. Oftentimes when people say you shouldn't compare yourself to other people, it's coming from the perspective of, well, you shouldn't compare yourself to other people because you're different than them. Yes, and you're also similar to other people because we are different, but we're also similar in crucial ways. To make a video game analogy, because I know you guys love these video game analogies. If you're playing a video game and it's a role-playing game, at the beginning of the game, you pick your class. So in this game, there's several stat categories that everyone has. There's strength, there's agility, there's dexterity, there's magic, there's constitution. There's also archers, warrior, mages, rogues, different classes. But in the beginning of the game, I decide I want to pick a fighter. So I should only be comparing myself to other fighters, but I should be comparing myself to fighters because if I've chosen to be a fighter, I should be the best damn fighter that I can be. But hold on, at level 20 in this game, you get another class. It's a specialty class. So now you're ignoring mages and archers, you're comparing yourself to fighters, but now fighters branch off into several trees. You can be a fighter warrior, you can be a fighter barbarian, you can be a fighter paladin, you can be a fighter defender. And let's say you decide, okay, I want to be a fighter barbarian because I really like the fighter barbarian playstyle. I love how they dual wield and just go fucking berserk, and they're mostly offense and very little defense. Fucking great. Now, ignore fighter warriors, ignore fighter paladins, ignore fighter defenders. They're not relevant to you because you're not trying to be like them. You're trying to be like other fighter barbarians. You see where I'm going here? Now you're a fighter barbarian. Level 50 hits. Now you get to specialize. Am I a fighter barbarian who uses axes? Am I a fighter barbarian who uses swords? Or am I a fighter barbarian who uses maces? You decide axes. Okay, that means start comparing yourself only to fighter barbarians who use axes and ignore the guys who use swords and maces. But what happens as we keep on specializing? Well, every time we get more specialized and higher level, we get into a smaller and smaller comparison pool of peers. So before, at the beginning of the game, you're comparing yourself to everyone who plays the game. Then it was just fighters. Then it was fighter barbarians. Then it was fighter barbarians who use axes. And the pool gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So as you progress in anything in your life, the pool of people you can compare yourself to gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And then eventually, what should happen? And maybe this is level 99. You start having fewer and fewer peers to compare yourself to. And then eventually there's no one to compare yourself to but you. But it's not because, oh, you just shouldn't compare yourself because it would feel bad to do that. No, because you become so unique, which everyone is, but you also know yourself so well, which not everyone does, that it only literally makes sense to compare yourself to the version of you who exists now versus the best possible version of you who has very specific stats and a very specific set of skills that is specific for the mission and purpose that you have in your life. But in the meantime, until you know exactly who that person is and you know that there's no one to compare yourself to, you should be comparing yourself to other people. You should be studying other people. You should be studying their game. You should be studying how they get better. You should be studying how they brand themselves. You should be studying how they market. You should be studying the habits that they have. And then you take the bits and the pieces that you conglomerate from these different sources, and then you incorporate that into the main character that's you. To give you another example, I coach people all the time who want to start a company, and oftentimes it's tech companies. So let's say you want to start a tech company. Well, tech company is insanely broad, but that's where people start when they don't really know what their purpose is. So it's okay to start there. When you decide initially, oh, I want to start a tech company, you might just say, well, I want to be like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs. Okay, that's a fine start. But let's look at what Elon does, and let's look at what Steve Jobs did. Elon specializes in hardware. He makes space shuttles. He makes cars. He's really, really fucking good at those things. Steve Jobs was more on the hardware and software side. So maybe you say, hey, you know what? Actually, I'm a software engineer. I'm actually not very interested in making hardware. I want to make software that changes the world. Okay, great. So you decide, let me stop comparing myself to Elon because the way he's playing the game is not the way I want to play the game. I want to start comparing myself to Steve Jobs. But then you look and you say, you know what? Actually, Steve Jobs is still too focused on hardware for me and not enough on software. I mean, he made really good products, obviously, but he made really good products by focusing on user experience and integration of hardware and software. So you say, oh, let me stop comparing myself to Steve Jobs, who is someone who is closer to the category that I am in, who's doing software specifically. And then maybe you say, I actually want to compare myself to Larry Ellison, or founder of Oracle. Now, I don't know too much about Oracle and what they actually do, but I'm pretty sure they're a software company. The point here is your purpose will evolve over time. And as you get more specific on your purpose, you'll get more specific about the actual skills that you need. And at every level of your purpose until the final level, you will have peers who are doing a similar thing who you want to learn from and compare yourself to. Now, here's where comparison is not helpful. Comparison is not helpful when you're comparing your fundamental worth to someone else's fundamental worth. And this is the issue with social media, basically. What we do is we conflate people's achievements with their value. So, again, going back to the video game example, a human being who is playing an RPG is just as valuable at level 1 as they are when they have a level 99 character. And someone who has a level 99 character is just as valuable as a newbie who's starting off and is barely level 10. So you might admire their achievements of a level 99 and you say, whoa, I really want to get to that level. But you still should recognize that your self-worth is inherent because your soul's value is infinite. But the value of your achievements is finite. So achievement is not all equal. Like if you look at your own life, the things that you did 10 years ago are hopefully not as significant as the things that you're doing now. Like you should be achieving at a bigger and bigger level as your life goes on because you're achieving a better character and you know yourself better and you're wiser and you're smarter and more capable. So that's the level at which comparison is not helpful. It's when we make comparisons a story about our self-worth. But there is different in value. It's just the value of your contributions. There is a difference in the value of your contributions, and we shouldn't forget that. So, to recap here, comparison is fine. And if you disagree with everything that I said, you should probably recognize that, hey, you're comparing yourself already, so you might as well do it well. But you compare for the sake of learning, not for the sake of making an evaluation of your fundamental worth as a human. But in the meantime, while you're trying to go take over the world and fulfill your purpose and do fucking awesome shit, go find other people who are doing awesome shit and emulate them until it doesn't make sense anymore. I really love doing these videos, and I would love a comment if you're loving these videos too. In particular, if you could tell me what really clicked and resonated with you, that would be helpful. Until next time, have a great life. I'm Kaizen. Go compare yourself to the people who are like you until it doesn't make sense anymore. Peace.